I was fixing something in my neighbor's basement. Then she asked that question. The sound of a wrench slipping from my hand echoed through the cold basement. But it wasn't the noise that made me freeze. It was the question. A simple question that seemed harmless at first. A question that nobody had asked me in years. And somehow, standing in that dimly lit basement, surrounded by old pipes, dusty boxes, and unfinished walls, I felt my entire world stop. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of helping others even when life gets difficult, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the Shadow of Kindness. Stories like this remind us that one small act can change a life forever. 3 years earlier, my life had fallen apart in ways I never imagined. My wife had passed away after a long illness, leaving me alone in a house that suddenly felt far too quiet. Every room carried memories. Every chair reminded me of conversations that would never happen again. At first, friends visited often. They checked on me, brought meals, and offered support. But as months passed, their lives continued while mine seemed stuck in place. I buried myself in work. I repaired things. Broken fences, leaking sinks, faulty wiring, anything that kept my hands busy and my mind distracted. People in the neighborhood began calling me whenever something needed fixing. I never charged much. Sometimes I didn't charge at all. The truth was simple. Fixing things was easier than facing what was broken inside me. One rainy Saturday afternoon, my neighbor Emily knocked on my door. She had moved into the house across the street about 6 months earlier with her young daughter, Lily. Emily was friendly but quiet, the kind of person who smiled even when she looked exhausted. She explained that something was wrong with a water pipe in her basement. Water had started collecting near one wall, and she was worried it might get worse. I grabbed my toolbox and followed her. The basement smelled faintly of damp concrete. A single overhead bulb cast soft yellow light across the room. As I inspected the pipes, Emily stayed nearby, helping hold a flashlight whenever I needed one. For nearly an hour, we barely spoke. The silence wasn't uncomfortable. It felt peaceful. Eventually, I located the problem. A cracked connection that had been slowly leaking for weeks. As I worked, I noticed stacks of unopened boxes in one corner. Some were labeled kitchen. Others said photos. They looked as though they had never been unpacked. The sight reminded me of someone still trying to build a home while carrying the weight of the past. When I finished tightening the replacement fitting, I stood up and wiped my hands. That's when Emily asked the question, not about the repair, not about the basement, not even about the house. She looked at me with a strange sadness in her eyes and quietly asked if I was happy. Hesitated. The question hit harder than any tragedy I had faced because I didn't know the answer. For years, nobody had asked me that. People asked whether I was okay, whether I needed anything, whether work was going well, but nobody had asked if I was happy. I tried to laugh it off. I tried to give a polite answer, but the words wouldn't come. Because, deep down, I knew the truth. I wasn't happy. I was surviving. There is a difference. That evening, after returning home, her question followed me from room to room. I sat alone in my kitchen, staring at a cold cup of coffee. The silence felt heavier than usual. For the first time in years, I realized I had spent so much energy avoiding pain that I had forgotten how to look for joy. Days passed, then weeks. Life continued. Yet something had changed. Whenever I saw Emily and Lily outside, I found myself stopping to talk. Sometimes it was only for a few minutes. Other times we spoke until sunset. I learned that Emily had faced her own hardships. Her marriage had ended unexpectedly. She had moved to the neighborhood hoping for a fresh start. But starting over wasn't easy when you carried years of disappointment and uncertainty. Lily, meanwhile, had a gift for bringing light wherever she went. She waved at everyone. She left chalk drawings on sidewalks, She laughed with the kind of freedom adults often forget exists. Little by little, I became part of their lives. I helped assemble furniture, fixed shelves, shoveled snow from their driveway. What surprised me most was how much those simple moments helped me too. For years, I had believed healing came from being left alone. But healing wasn't happening in isolation. It was happening through connection. One afternoon, I found Lily sitting on her front porch drawing pictures. She proudly showed me a crayon sketch. There were 3 figures standing together beneath a bright blue sky. I pointed to the drawing and asked who they were. She smiled. One was her mother, one was herself, and the 3rd figure was me. That simple drawing stayed with me for days, because somewhere along the way, without realizing it, I had become important to someone again. Not because of what I fixed, not because of what I provided, simply because I was present. Months passed, the seasons changed. The neighborhood trees turned gold, then bare, then green again. And slowly, something inside me began changing too. The grief never hesitated. The grief never disappeared. I don't think grief ever truly leaves, but it stopped controlling every moment of my life. The memories that once brought only pain started bringing gratitude. Instead of focusing on what I had lost, I began appreciating what I still had. One evening, almost a year after that day in the basement, Emily invited me for dinner. Nothing fancy, just homemade food and good company. As we sat around the table laughing about old stories and childhood memories, I suddenly realized something. The house no longer felt empty. The future no longer felt frightening. For the first time in years, I wasn't merely existing, I was living. And all because of one unexpected question in a basement. A question that forced me to confront the truth. A question that opened a door I had kept locked for far too long. Before we reach the end of this story, I have a special request. Comment below. Kindness changes lives. If you believe one small act of compassion can make a difference in someone's darkest moment, life rarely changes through dramatic miracles. More often, it changes through ordinary people showing up for one another. A neighbor asking a sincere question, a child sharing a drawing, a stranger offering help. Small moments. Quet. Moments. Yet moments powerful enough to heal wounds we thought would never heal. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to The Shadow of Kindness. Your support helps these stories reach people who may be searching for hope. As for me, I still remember that basement. I still remember the dripping pipe. And I still remember the question that changed everything. Because sometimes the greatest repair isn't fixing a broken pipe, a damaged wall, or an old house. Sometimes the greatest repair is helping a wounded heart find its way back to life. And sometimes all it takes is one person caring enough to act.